Hi everybody, welcome to the FPL Addicts powered by Esports Live Euro 2020 podcast. We are about to go live very shortly, but we just wanted to say a massive thank you to everybody who's joined our community so far. Our Discord server is going off with engagement, huge discussions about the Euros, players, opinions and advice. Jump on there now and be a part of it. And don't forget you can still join our leagues. All the information is on our website. Head there now and we'll see you shortly. Enjoy the pod.
Fantasy managers, hello and welcome back. And I'd like to start the podcast with another massive thank you for all the support that you've given us recently. If you looked at any of our socials on either Instagram or Twitter, which are both at Esports Live now, or gone on one of the Gurus pages, which is at FPL_Addicts on Instagram and at Addicts_FPL on Twitter, you would have seen that we're now the #1 fantasy football podcast in the UK, which is an unreal achievement, and we couldn't have done it without the support that you guys give us. So thank you so very much, and a massive shout out to all our UK viewers, even though all the views are probably just from Chris Reed watching the podcast over and over for help for his Euro fantasy team. Another massive thank you to the 800 plus people split over the 2 Euro fantasy leagues, and remember they are still open to join. The code for the free league is 45KZE7YN07, and to join the paid league, head to www.e-sportslive.com.au/FPL Addicts. While you're there, if you may wish to read articles from myself and the Guru, they are there. And there's a link to join our Discord server where you can get access to the Guru, as well as lots of laughs and Chris Reed sharing his love of the Swiss. But anyway, hello and welcome back to the first review and preview edition of the FPL Addicts and Esports Live Euro podcast for match day 1. A lot has happened this week and I'm excited to get into it and dissect it all. So we have the usual culprits on today's show, starting with my right-hand man in the commentary box. It is, of course, Ollie, or at Ollie Walker Peel on Instagram. How are you today, mate?
Yeah, I'm really good. Thank you, mate. I just want to echo those thanks to obviously all of our new members on here. It's been crazy to see it explode, but you know, I reckon with all the work we've put in, lads, collectively, I reckon it's all we deserve. So congratulations to the rest of you on the podcast as well. But no, I'm really good. Got the England shirt today in the mail, the away shirt that I'm rocking right now. It's looking class. And once again, I'll remind you, football's coming home.
It's coming home.
The only man on the podcast that doesn't believe that it's going home is the resident Belgium fan. We'll get onto Belgium a little bit later, but Statman Dave, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, going all right, guys. I've enjoyed a few late nights and enjoying a few of the games so far this week. So it's a bit out of the ordinary for me, but yeah, quite enjoyed it so far.
It's the life of a football fan, Statman. It's the life of a football man, isn't it? And the Guru knows that all too well himself as well. He's been up in the night watching all the games, disrupting his sleep schedule. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, knackered, mate. Just like you said, watching all these games, but enjoying it. Managed to get out on Sunday night with Jack to watch the England game. We had a great time, and obviously England got the win. So yeah, happy about that. Really good. We had James Gasden with us as well. Well, we think he was with us. We can't quite tell if he was with us, but yeah, good. Happy with the England win and pretty content with fantasy so far. So yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get onto it a little bit later as well, Jack, but you'll be really happy with your fantasy week as well. So how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, listen, how good's this? You know, tournaments are immense anyway, but then England off for the first ever win, you know, for the first game in the group stage. And then, you know, I've shot up that ladder in our paid mini league. Got second, got edged out to Matt Cowling, who took out the first spot and got himself $30 for the win this week as a manager of the match day round.
What a prize that is as well, just for winning 1 week. 30 Aussie dollars is not bad at all. He's already won his money back that he's put in there. So anything more now is just extra profit that he's going to get, isn't it? So that's brilliant.
Yeah, listen, he's off to a great start, and I'm sure he's very excited going into the match day too. So many good fixtures to choose from and options. But yeah, well done to Matt Cowling on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ollie, you were saying before you think it's coming home, mate. How did you react to the England game? I think Jack and Matt probably can't remember it too much, and you were going to give quite an optimistic view of the game anyway. You were obviously ecstatic with it. So what did you make of it, mate?
Oh, mate, to be honest, for those of you that know my dad, for the majority that know him, you know he goes mental. And we went absolutely ballistic when that Sterling goal went in. He did say for Southgate to sub him off about 10 minutes earlier and called him Daniel Sturridge. But when that goal went in, we both went crazy. We probably woke up the whole street at what was it, 10 past 12 on Monday morning, but unreal, and it was nice to see England start off with a win.
Is he too caught up on Euro 2016, mate, with Daniel Sturridge, maybe?
Oh, look, I think so, mate. Obviously, that's not a tournament we really want to talk about on here, being England fans. But no, I was really surprised. I didn't even correct him because I just let it stew over. I'm like, you do realise you just called him Daniel Sturridge? He said, "Oh, Southgate, you need to get that Sturridge off." And I couldn't believe it. He doesn't follow football much anymore, but I think he'd follow it enough to know that it's Raheem Sterling. But he took his goal, well enough, and obviously it was enough to get the 3 points. So brilliant to see.
Yeah, and if you can't correlate the two, that football knowledge is probably one of the reasons why Peely was second bottom of the FPL Draft League for this season. But we won't get onto that too much because it's all about the Euros. And another team that also started off with a win, Statman Dave, was your Belgium. What a game Romelu Lukaku had.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of goals for him and a nice little touching tribute to his teammate in Christian Eriksen, only a few hours after the incident. A few little surprises that caught a few people off guard, like Danae not getting a run. I was included in that, and they were pretty impressive, but up against a pretty lackluster sort of Russian side. So take what you will from it, I suppose. But I think they've got plenty in the tank for the weeks to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And the disappointment of Denier not playing was redeemed for me with the excitement of Thomas Meunier getting on and grabbing a goal and an assist for himself. So that was very, very nice for me. But, a lot of the headlines this week, Matt, were taken by ex-Spurs man Christian Eriksen, and just how good is it to see him safe and recovering in hospital now. He issued a statement on Instagram. So all of us here on the podcast are wishing him a speedy recovery and everything, and everyone involved, we hope you're doing okay. But just how good is it to see that he's okay, Matt?
Yeah, it's amazing to see that he's okay. Obviously, the incident was, really sad to see and kind of out of nowhere. So, really happy to see that he's doing well, and and he was taken care of straight away as well.
Yeah, the treatment that he received there on the pitch and as he was carried off was probably second to none, I would say. So he's probably in some of the best hands in the world, and we're wishing him a speedy recovery, as we said. But on to more happier things now. Patrick Schick scored probably what was the goal of the match day, definitely, but an early shout for probably goal of the tournament, would you say?
Yeah, it topped. What a screamer that was! But then Patrick Schick goes and scores that. There's been so much debate, and obviously we were mentioning it beforehand. How good was this goal? And listen, I think scoring a goal like that, it takes extreme confidence. His first goal was actually a class header as well. So would he have hit that shot if he hadn't scored a header and been riding that kind of confidence wave? Who knows? But yeah, a couple of mistakes around the Scotland team for that one for Schick to go and hit that, and Marshall was in no man's land.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's all good for us then, Ollie, isn't it? With Scotland facing England on Saturday morning in Australia. It's Friday night, obviously, in England. But you think we can exploit their defence and grab a couple?
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously we're live now and we're on record, so whatever I say now is going to bite me, isn't it? But I didn't see too much from either Scotland or Croatia that should leave us worried on paper. I will say on paper because, of course, football isn't played on paper, and by saying on paper, I can sort of safeguard myself a little bit. But I think we can beat Scotland. We can beat Scotland full stop. We can beat them relatively comfortably, and I think that we can get all the 3 points just based on talent. Look at the players we've got. Obviously, we've got the likes of Harry Kane. We know what he can do. Most goals and assists in the Premier League. You've got the likes of Phil Foden, who, although he was quiet, still played all right, I thought. Mason Mount was really good, I thought, going forward. And even coming off the bench, you've got the likes of Jude Bellingham, who I thought was class when he came on. Just 17, youngest player to ever play at the Euros for England. So I think, it's a squad teeming with talent. And I think we should be able to get the job done Saturday morning.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And just to stop you from digging yourself any deeper hole that might come back to bite you on the proverbial behind later, we'll move on to your team now, and we'll ask you just how well you went. And you haven't had the best of weeks, mate. I won't sugarcoat it for you. You haven't had the best of weeks after, you had a pretty decent start, didn't you, with the Italy game and Immobile, but it just sort of tapered out, didn't it?
Yeah, I made a couple of mistakes actually. So if you scroll down to my bench, I think I had points that I subbed off. I think I had Kier on there. Who, by the way, I just want to mention him not for his fancy assets, but just for the work he did in helping Christian Eriksen there, because I think that was unbelievable. The work he did in helping Christian Eriksen out. So Kier, absolute hero. but I did take him off my pitch, which was disappointing from a fantasy point of view. Obviously, Grealish didn't play. Windal didn't play, which was really disappointing. So it's been a real. Oh no, he did play. Sorry, but obviously didn't score because he conceded twice and got subbed on. I'll correct myself. But yeah, I started really well. I was equal top after the Italy game in the paid league, which was nice. Obviously nice to be a bit of an Everton and be top of the league really early on, then peter out. But Ciro Immobile was brilliant. I knew that he would be good, and I stuck faith with him. Berardi and Donnarumma from that game also helped out. And then I had points, just dotted around really. It was Pau Torres who did really well for me, and the rest were really disappointing. Which obviously I'm playing my Limitless this week. Oh, David Alaba also got an assist, but playing my Limitless this week, complete overhaul, and I'm hoping to do a little bit better. Not too unhappy with my week, but I would have liked a bit better, as you say.
Yeah, and Memphis Depay is probably the main one for me. You were hyping him up all before the week before and everything. So were you a little bit disappointed to see that, Netherlands scored 3, didn't they? So it's a little bit disappointing that he wasn't involved in at least one of them after he had a pretty good pre-tournament, didn't he?
Yeah, and obviously scored twice against Scotland, so I was sort of hoping that he would continue that form into the Euros. But that wasn't a game I watched because what was it, a 2:00 start over here, 2 a.m. start. So that was one game I didn't watch. So I've no idea how he played. If he played all right, obviously I watched Immobile play, and I watched Harry Kane play, and obviously you put faith in Harry Kane. He didn't, create anything really for us, but I'm sure against Scotland he'll bounce back. He'll probably grab a couple of goals, knowing the talisman that he is, but. No, I'm kind of a bit disappointed, but obviously there's always next week, as you say, and it's tonight, isn't it? It's in a few hours' time. What time is it recording this? It's 8:30 leading up to in a couple of hours. We've got the deadline, so obviously you've got to pick yourself up, go again, and I'm sure that I'll have a better week next week.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And you alluded towards your Limitless chip that you're going to play this week. And for anyone that doesn't know that is watching, Limitless is sort of like a free hit in FPL where you get unlimited budget and unlimited transfers for a week, so you can get all the top players in if you so wish so. And there's no budget, but then it does go back to your original team the week after. So do you want to sort of walk us through what changes you've made to your team, Ollie?
I've made a lot, so I'll just run through my team and my bench. So I'm keeping Gianluigi Donnarumma in goal. I'm going to a back 5 comprising of Jordi Alba, Lucas Hernandez, Rafael Varane, Thomas Meunier, and Presnel Kimpembe. Midfield 2 of Raheem Sterling and Lorenzo Insigne, into a front 3 of Harry Kane, Romelu Lukaku, and Ciro Immobile, who is currently my captain, but I'll obviously look to change that based upon match days and all of that. And on my bench, Jordan Pickford, Andrew Yarmolenko, Gareth Bale, and we've also got another Ukrainian in Ruslan Malinovsky. So that's my Limitless team for now. Obviously could change, but I don't think there'll be too much to change there, but let's see.
Right, so it sounds like all we need is a hungry goal, and your week's already down the pan then, mate, doesn't it?
They're not going to score. Please, no. I have immense confidence. I wasn't that impressed by France this morning, but I don't think Hungary will score, and if they do, then my Euro
I thought France were class. I
thought they were good. I thought they deserved the win, but they didn't. What I mean by that, if I clarify, they didn't jump off the page at me.
Well, they were playing Germany.
They played. No, but they didn't like. They were good, but they weren't great. I didn't think they were great. I think they did the job. They got it done, and I think they'll comfortably beat Hungary. And if football doesn't come home, I've still got my money on France. I'm not a betting man, but I would have my money on France winning the tournament. But this morning they didn't jump off the page. But of course, it's the first game. They'll improve from here. And if that's the worst they can play, then it's their best is crazy.
Well,
and I think they'll beat Hungary pretty comfortably.
Well, that's a fair assumption to make, mate, but I'm not too sure that Jack still agrees with you there. But we've got a live comment from Chris Reed there. He says, I just want to say you lads are awesome. What a community, boys. And right back at you, Chris. It's been incredible just to get to know everybody in the Discord, and yourself included. What a community that, the fantasy football sort of brings, and, makes friendships and that sort of stuff. So it's absolutely brilliant. And, it just keeps growing by the second, doesn't it? So it's just completely awesome. But we'll move on to your team now, Matt, and where Ollie didn't have the best of weeks, you definitely had a better week than him. You got 64 points, which was 14 more than Ollie. And just walk us through your week and what went well for you.
Yeah, pretty happy with the strike force of Lukaku and Ronaldo. So see Ronaldo this morning coming along and grabbing a couple of goals. So pretty happy with that. He was someone I spoke about from day one and was pretty much the first name on the team sheet when I saw the fixture. So, really happy with that. Obviously, there were late goals. We had to wait for them, but, they come in the end. Lukaku as well does what he always does for Belgium and grabbed a couple. Look, Kane was disappointing. I'd spoken a lot about him on the podcast and, in England and everything like that. And, had a disappointing game, but, I'm not going to rule him out just yet for the Scotland game, I don't think. And they're moving into midfield. Berardi and Alaba hitting, which was nice. Ferran Torres coming out with 3 points. Obviously, Spain were unlucky not to score quite a few goals in that game. Obviously, the unfortunate case with Eriksen in midfield, who was just playing brilliant before his his unexpected problem. He's having a few shots on goal and taking a lot of corners. So I was quite unlucky there. And then going into defence again, the two Danes, which are obviously struggled with what happened in the game. And then I had an Austrian defender there who didn't come out with a clean sheet. So that was a bit disappointing. But then Pepe and Donnarumma come out with clean sheets, and Pepe really impressed me this morning. He could have scored a couple of goals from set pieces. He was getting on the end of a few. So pretty happy overall. Steady start, and can't complain too much in the end.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And Pepe isn't one that I've seen in too many people's teams. Is he sort of a differential pick from you there, do you reckon?
Yeah, look, I'd seen he played in the last game for Portugal in the friendlies, and I looked at him and I think he scored a goal in Euro 2000, and it was either the opener in Euro 2016 for Portugal or Euro 2012. It was one of the Euros once upon a time, and I sort of flashed back to that and thought, he's just a good player when it comes to attacking set pieces. And he got on the end of a couple, so I was unlucky, but look, taking 6 points as well. So yeah, definitely a differential, I think, for Portugal.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can say all you want about the guru. He does his research. He's going back all the way back to Euro 2016 to find that, to get Pepe and his team. And it's absolutely paid off for him in this first week. So hats off to you there, mate. But we'll move on to Jack and his team now. And he's the best on the podcast this week. He's near the top of all the mini leagues that I'm in. So 75 points this week, Jack. And, just looking at that, you can see where it's gone right for you. But for the people that are listening and can't see it, just sort of walk us through.
Yeah, obviously it all came to fruition for me in the first round. Made that big sacrifice with Harry Kane coming off, and I know that raised a few eyebrows last week on the podcast, but that kind of obviously worked in my favour in that respect. Arnautovic came in and Ronaldo came in. Ronaldo came in instead of Kane, sorry, and I switched Moreno. I got rid of all my Spanish assets after all that COVID kind of scare, and didn't know where they would be at, so I kind of didn't risk anything with them. Took them out, and obviously Gini, Wijnaldum, Alaba, Jota, Berardi, all stepped up in midfield. Obviously Grealish was blanked because he didn't play. And Meunier coming on for Castagna, a bit like Ollie, and I think Elliot, did you get him as well? Obviously, he coming on and absolutely cleaned up, didn't he, for Belgium, and scored and assisted within moments. And then, just had that issue with Kasper Schmeichel and the Finnish goalkeeper, both playing against each other. Obviously, no one would have been able to foresee what happened in that game with Eriksen. And obviously, them playing on after that was obviously a bit of a disgraceful kind of move, and the heads had gone and everything had gone. So that Schmeichel didn't obviously fire in there for me. Obviously a Dene issue similar to Statman Dave, and Cancelo going on with COVID. So still came out well. Changed the captain around obviously a couple of times. But yeah, the likes of Berardi, who I was hyping about, did well, and Wijnaldum did well as well with the goal. And he looks a completely different player for Netherlands. So after watching him now, you're just thinking when he's playing in that kind of free role in the 10 role, he's a different player, isn't he? A player we haven't really seen for Liverpool.
I was going to pick up on that one there, mate, for the Gini Wijnaldum. I was going to say he just looks completely different. I think it's a good point is that you've got to judge a player off his performance internationally more than you would judge him off his domestic season with his club, because Gini Wijnaldum's not one that's really raising the eyebrows this season. But, we had a stat on the last podcast. I think it was 7 goals in his last 8 appearances. So that's now 8 goals in his last 9 for the Netherlands now. So he's definitely a really good pick, and a good one that you picked up on there. But I think Marko Arnautovic is the one for me in your team there that you've really hit the nail on the head there. How happy were you with his goal?
Yeah, buzzing. I was actually listening to a podcast a few weeks ago, and it was Mark Noble just talking him up on the High Performance podcast. And they're just going to drop him on in there for them. And then they was just saying what an absolute baller he is. He's so determined. He's obviously very talented, and he's very a lot of people think wrongly of him. And he's obviously didn't get the start in that game, but he came as a sub, and obviously he saw the rant when he scored, and he started ranting, getting angry, and Alba had to calm him down. But he was just saying, obviously proving a point. He's very deserving of his place in the team. He's I was obviously delighted to get that fixture and that game and that goal for him. So yeah, happy days, and it kind of works well with Moreno not scoring for Spain, who we were obviously talking about last week. So it's a good change.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. A really, really nice pickup from you there, and it's the best week that out of anyone here that on the podcast. So yeah, absolutely, hats off to you there, mate. And we'll move on to yours now, Statman Dave, and 61 points for you. And again, not a bad week at all, but all the points there you can see mainly coming from your man Romelu Lukaku, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't have a great start with obviously Cancelo being dumped from the squad and Dene not playing. I made a bit of a blunder taking out Kaya a bit early. Signing ended up having 2 scoring defenders, which is a bit disappointing. But I think Lukaku as captain probably saved my week a little bit. And then had to pay subbing out for Kante. So it was a 3-5-2 formation, but that includes the blank from Cancelo. But yeah, Wijnaldum, obviously I backed him as well, and he scored, and the assist from Alaba, and a few clean sheets at the back. So pretty good result. I've made a couple of changes. So obviously I've had to replace Cancelo, and I'm not going to back Dene anymore. I think the fact that they made 2 defensive subs and he wasn't included in that, I think that probably shows where he sits in the team at the moment. So I've brought in Meunier and Blind as well this week. So hopefully they'll cover for those 2. But not a bad start. Like, I'm in the top quarter of the free league and 14th in the paid, so I can't really complain too much.
Yeah, 2 very astute transfers that you've got in there, but they're probably safe options that are going to get you a lot of points. So I've definitely backed those 2 transfers. And you were quite unlucky with your Jorginho pick. It was a fraction, or the referee's opinion of it paying off. Italy arguably should have or could have had a penalty by many people's estimations. So were you a little bit annoyed with that?
Oh, yeah, it was early in the game week, so I didn't really know where things were going to go. But yeah, it would have been nice, but can't complain.
A couple of extra points, but a really, really solid start from you there, Statman, and foundations to build on. And you're already doing better than Ollie, so that's all that really counts for.
I'm confident tonight, probably fairly.
That's all I ever aim to do, is just be better than Ollie at fantasy. And then if you're doing that, then you're not doing half a bad a job. And I have this week, so I've got 66 points, which is better than Ollie, but that's my team for next week. So I'll switch back over to my match day 1 squad, a bit too eager for match day 2 there. As you can see, Mbappe unfortunately didn't fire for me, and Kane didn't either. But I'm not going to jump the gun on them. They're going to be staying in the team for next week, because I think next week's going to be their week, and I'll keep saying that until they score, because it's inevitable to happen at some stage. And then similarly to Statman Dave, Lukaku was the captain, didn't move the armband off him after he was scoring 2, didn't think anyone else would have done better, and it's paid off for me there. So he got me the 20 points. A little bit disappointed with Bruno Fernandes, who didn't manage to get me any points in the end, but yeah, he might be one that I'm looking to jump the gun on and get out, possibly. Berardi and Jack, I owe you a massive thank you, and all the credit for that one, because I was convinced I was going to go with Chiesa, and a lot of managers suffered from that this week, and he didn't really do anything, did he? But Berardi managed to himself, so yeah, delighted with that one, and whatever inside intel you had, or whatever's properly paid off for you and me there, so a massive thank you to you there. And then Grealish, I think a lot of England fans were disappointed that he wasn't starting, so he obviously got me 0 points. And then the defence as well was where a lot of my points came from. Kyle Walker, Thomas Meunier and Pau Torres and Donnarumma all returned for me. Meunier obviously with a massive haul, goal and an assist, so yeah, I was absolutely delighted with that, and that gave me 66 points for this week. But it's all about match day 2 for me now, I think. And as Ollie spoke about his limitless chip, I have played mine, and that's what it's looking like. So I've got Donnarumma, Spinazzola, Meunier and Zinchenko at the back. I'm really, really backing Ukraine for this fixture. I think a lot of people would, and it's probably one of the weaker teams in the competition. Then I'm taking a little punt with De Bruyne. If he doesn't play, I've got Raheem Sterling sitting on my bench, who's eagerly waiting to be subbed on. Gini Wijnaldum, Yarmolenko Zinchenko and Insigne, who's going to have the armband on him for the moment, but I'm not too sure how that will eventuate. And then Mbappe, Kane and Lukaku stays the same up top with Pickford, Sterling, Luka Hernandez and Pavard on the bench. Hernandez and Pavard will probably get subbed on if anyone doesn't return, but they play the last fixture of the week, so it's always worth leaving your last players that are playing on your bench just so that you can, if the other ones return, you can keep them on. But that's all I'm doing this week. But Jack, what's your transfers going to be for the week? Are you not going to play your limitless chip or anything?
Oh, 100%. I've already activated it, mate. Similar to a lot of the community. There's a lot of debate whether to play it now or into match day 3. But I think match day 3, in my opinion, offers too much rotation for the fixtures. There'll be obviously a couple of teams vying for those last minute, even the third places, but second and first, putting some strong teams out. But some of the teams, the convincing ones, will kind of already be there already. So I think putting looking for those strong players in match day 2, I'll be playing it 100%. So I think I'm at the point. I've obviously played around with a couple of teams. I've tried to be obviously a bit more tactical around each day, like a bit like you, El, offering different captain opportunities and you rotating your subs around. I've started with Courtois in goal, Pickford as my backup, and then Spinazzola, Meunier, Zinchenko, Dumfries at the back, and I've got Pavard on the bench ready to come in. And I've gone for Sterling now. Sterling's proved me wrong. I'm not a fan of him at all, but he's probably going to start. He's got a great chance to score again, and against a team like Scotland. So I've put him in. Wijnaldum's retained his spot in there as well. Malinovsky, who I know Ollie's probably got as well, but he's on set pieces, got an assist for Ukraine. He's one of the better players in the Serie A this year for Atalanta. And then Insigne, I've got him on there as well. And then up top, Lukaku and Immobile. And I've got Mbappe on the bench and Ferran Torres. Not bad options at all. So I'm quite happy there. Probably after the pod, I might just have one last look and see where we're at. But yeah, pretty excited for that.
Yeah, as you can see, the deadline does obviously end in a couple of hours now. So if you're listening to this before the deadline's over, then get your transfers in. But if you're listening to it afterwards and you've forgotten, that's just that's how Euro fantasy works. Unfortunately, it's quick turnovers. But what about you, Matt? Have you got anything up your sleeve for this week? You haven't really talked about the limitless chip too much. Are you going to be a little more preservative? Maybe a rollover?
No, I'll be using it, and the team I've drafted very, very similar to yours, Elliot. I'd probably say there's a couple in there that I don't have, but I've got the same strike force, pretty much the same midfield. I've got the exact same bench, so at the moment it's very, very similar. There's a couple. De Bruyne was someone, obviously we'll come to him later in the guru section, who I've looked at, but I'm not sure if I want him. Zinchenko is a nice pick as well, but yeah, I'm looking at the likes of, I'm keeping Harry Kane. Definitely liking, got to keep Lukaku. I think if he, scores a couple of goals with his ownership, and you don't own him, then you'll struggle a bit. And like Jack said, I'm liking Sterling as well, and I'm liking the French defense. So yeah, very similar to you. But again, I'll probably have a look after the pod and see if there's anyone else that comes to mind, because I think we're going to see a lot of very similar teams. So
yeah,
you've got to try and gain ground somewhere.
Guru, just jump in. Got two things I'm picking up on, right? Which I was having trouble with, which maybe the community can help us out with as well. Was obviously France and England play on the same game day, don't they? On the 19th. So I was thinking, obviously, captain headaches. That's why I kind of sacrificed Kane on mine for Mbappe and chose a different striker to go up there. So you didn't have that headache, just so you can switch around. Don't know what you think about that.
You know what? I didn't know they were a different match day. I thought it was.
I think I've got that right. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure they're on the same day.
I'll check
I'll get it up on screen.
You could be so France is the last day.
Both on the 19th on the day.
England is the 18th, Friday. So Saturday morning, Friday night Europe time, and then France is Saturday night Saturday afternoon Europe time. Yeah,
yeah, but they're on the same. No, they're on the same day there.
Same day here, Saturday 19th of June. Yeah. England, Scotland's 5 o'clock in the morning, and then Hungary, France is 11 o'clock at night, Australian time, Melbourne time.
So the substitution window will be straight after the England-Scotland game, similar to the Italy-Turkey game last week.
So on your teams on here, do you want me to press date on the app? Is that a glitch on our end for Australia then?
Not too
It
sure.
says
Let's see if
the
this
same
can
date
see.
on there. Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to work, but there you go.
Like,
Substitution window below the England-Scotland game.
So I was muted. I think what will happen. So I was. That's why you would. I thought I was speaking over the earlier, but I wasn't because I was muted. So apologies. I got a bit nervous then. What will happen is it'll be the time rather than the date. So the date that you'll see there will be I presume will be the local time for us. But you've got to watch sort of for that time. I think it'll be the substitution window will open right after the England-Scotland game.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And then we'll close before the following game. I would assume, but I think that's how it'll work. And obviously the dates will be different for Europe, and I think that's the way they'll run. So I think that's the way it'll work.
Just kill me then. So would you? All right. So on that note, are they looking? So that'll offer you different captaincy options then, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
as in England and France guru.
Are you asking the guru?
Yeah, for the guru.
For anyone really. I'm just so someone answer. I'll take it if you want. I think it will. It will. Because you've got the chance with Kane. You've got the double chance, haven't you? So you've got the likes of Harry Kane.
What you do, sorry, is you take Mbappe off and put Sterling on.
Yeah.
Jack,
nice.
just a reminder.
That clarifies that, lads. Thank you.
Yeah, just a reminder of you're taking advice from Ollie there. If you can see it on the screen, he's sitting in 26th in the paid league.
Mate, can we stop the slander, please?
We can get his free league rank up, but I think I'll save his bacon a little bit there.
Mate,
Jack's obviously up there in second.
We can't be boring the viewers. If you're going there for my free league, you're going down like 200 spots. We're going to be here for like 2 hours.
We'll save you all the headache, and we'll wrap up there for the match day 1 team review and our thoughts for match day 2. So moving on now to the guru section by the one and only Matt Day, or at FPL Addicts at FPL_Addicts on Instagram and at Addicts_FPL on Twitter. And remember, if you're not in the Discord server, head to www.e-sportslive.com.au/FPL Addicts for the link to the Discord server, which will give you direct access to the guru. You can hassle him all you want and get all the advice, because I know he absolutely loves helping people out with his fancy Premier League teams. But no, you've got your ones to watch for game week 2, your captain picks and a curveball captain, so take it away, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Elliot. And certainly got my ones to watch, and we're going to start with the first fixture on tonight, and it's going to be Teemu Pukki against Russia. He's on pens for the Finns. They've obviously got off to a good start against Denmark with the 1-0 win. So really liking that fixture for Pukki. Russia letting 3 goals against Belgium. I think it's a really, really good differential for this game week. So that'll be your chance for the first game week of the game of the night, and for the rotation of players. And then moving on, we'll go to Yarmolenko for Ukraine. Obviously scored that absolute worldie against Holland, and he's got a fixture against North Macedonia. So that could be your second night, a sort of a rotation option. And then going on to Saturday's games, Raheem Sterling against Scotland. We obviously mentioned him a few times amongst us, and he scored in the opening game for England. He was getting in a lot of good positions, and I think he's going to tear Scotland apart on Saturday. And then the last one to watch, which would be on the last game day, is from France, and Jack would certainly like this one, because I'm going to go with a Manchester United player. It's going to be Paul Pogba against Hungary. He had an absolutely brilliant game this morning for France against Germany.
Class.
Brilliant, just pinging balls around. The outside of the foot pass he did for, I think it was the own goal by Hummels. He did the outside of the foot pass to Hernandez. He was unlucky not to, really it pretty much was the assist for the goal. That's how good it was. And, I think he's someone that when he puts on that French shirt, he ups his game. He goes into a different world, and he's definitely one to watch out for in my eyes.
Yeah, definitely. Paul Pogba sort of turns into a different player when he's playing alongside N'Golo Kante for his national team, doesn't he, Matt? So it's definitely, a safe option to go for there. And as you said, he was unlucky not to grab an assist, but I'm sure there's a lot more that's going to be coming for him. And now I think what a lot of people are sort of interested in hearing, because this week's going to be such a headache for them in their limitless chip. What are your captain picks for the week?
Yeah, look, I've gone for a captain each night. Obviously, you can only have a limit of 3 strikers, and each captain I've picked is a striker. But if you're looking at each night, we're going to start with tonight. It's going to be Immobile for Italy. I know it was a popular choice in the last round. I think I had him for the captain for the first night last time, and he scored and got an assist. So definitely one to look out for tonight. And then tomorrow will be Belgium. It will be Lukaku. Obviously comes off 2 goals for Belgium. And then on the third night of action, Harry Kane. I'm still putting him down. I know he disappointed against the Croatians, but I think the Scotland game will be a lot more free flowing. Scotland have got to go for the game. They've got to get a result. I think England will score a few goals in that one, and Kane will be amongst them. And then going on to the last day, I'm going to put Mbappe on there. Obviously, you'll be, I know yourself, Elliot, and Reedy will both be pretty upset with his unlucky I'd say is not to get a hat trick this morning. He was offside for a few. He had a lot of shots on goal. He had a brilliant game, and I think the Hungary game's a perfect time for him to break his score and duck in this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. He was definitely unfortunate this morning, but good things will come to those who wait with him, I think. And he just looks some player, doesn't he, in that France team, and for his domestic team PSG as well. So I'll definitely be sticking with him. But who have you gone for as your curveball for this week, mate?
Yeah, look, I've cheated a bit this week, and I've put 2 down. And I'm going to put 2. I'm going to stick with the 2. Obviously, I normally do the 1, but I wanted to do 2, both midfielders from rival clubs, and it's going to be Kevin De Bruyne from Manchester City and Belgium. I think he's fit, he's been training, and he's ready to go. I think he's going to be a huge curveball option. And then I wanted to go for the man I mentioned before as one to watch, Man United's Paul Pogba. I think he's a really big curveball captain this week, and I think he's going to reward owners if they put him in.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll definitely will come as a shock if Kevin De Bruyne, definitely gets a full 90, I think, but he's definitely worth, taking a punt on, mate. And who's your second one?
Sorry, the second one was Paul Pogba.
Oh, sorry, I misheard you there, mate. Paul Pogba.
No,
spoken about him a little bit before. As we said, he had a great game this morning for France. So they're definitely 2 fair options. So yeah, wouldn't be surprised if either of them are grabbing, a couple of goals, and it'd be really nice to see, Kevin De Bruyne back. He was in a lot of people's draft teams at the start of the season, and then, he was probably passed as not fit, but it's probably his time to shine now. But we'll get on to James Gasden's question there in the chat, Matt. He says, gents, can we play 2 subs plus Limitless or just Limitless? Cheers. And I'll leave this one for you because you'll probably know more than me being the guru yourself. But yeah.
Yeah, I think James, if I'm understanding you correctly, you probably mean your 2 transfers and then the Limitless. So I think he means do 2 transfers and then have them for game week 3 and then play Limitless. No, you can't. You can only play your Limitless, and then the team will revert back to exactly what it is right now, less any transfers. So whatever team you've left, you've scored with this game week will be the team you get in the game week after. But if you mean, can you put a Limitless team of 11 players out and then make a couple of subs on the side, then yeah, those rules don't change. But in terms of if you make 2 transfers now and then use Limitless, then those 2 transfers will be wiped away. Similar to FPL, when you make your game week transfer, but then you play a wild card or you play a free hit, you actually lose that free transfer.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting one. It didn't even, cross my mind that, you could maybe work your way around that. So you just said in the chat, yes, sorry, 2 transfers. So, thank you very much for the insight to a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of people will be finding that useful. And thank you very much for your guru section. That wraps up another edition of the Matt Day special. So we will move on now to the guest section, and it's probably, the best guest, I think, arguably, that we've ever had on the podcast. A lot of people very excited for this one. We've got Mrs. Guru, Renee. How are you doing?
Hey, Elliot. I'm good, thank you. Today's my birthday, so this is a great way to spend my birthday.
Wouldn't expect anything less from being on the fantasy podcast on your birthday. But have you had a good day then, at least?
No, it's been good. Matt helped me adopt a dog. So we've got a 5-year-old Pomeranian running around. So he's made it a very special day, all the three of us.
Yeah, he told us about the dog last week. It was very, very cute. So yeah, he's definitely made up for it there. And is he giving you any FPL pointers as a late birthday present, maybe for the next game week?
Do you know what? I've actually made a lot of my choices by myself. I've thrown a few suggestions to Matt, and he's kind of steered me in a bit of a right direction. But I picked a lot of countries, and then I picked players off the back of those countries.
Good to hear. We've just got a couple of questions for you now. Starting with you, Ollie. So take it away, mate.
So yeah, just following on from that, so sort of, is it common to get like exclusive tips or insights off Matt? And the second part's that question: do you think you're capable of beating him in this summer's Euros?
Oh God, yeah, that's a good question, Ollie. I guess in terms of tips off Matt, I guess, at our house, it's FPL 24/7. So he's always talking about different teams, players, who's doing well. To be honest, it's like kind of helped me at work because some of the guys I probably don't have anything in common with, except I can talk about football with them. So I'm kind of grateful for that. But so in terms of tips from him, sometimes we'll talk about stuff during the week and I'll try to remember. If I think I'll beat him this year, do you know what? I played FPL for the Premier League a couple of years ago and he did beat me. But hopefully this will be my year. Fingers crossed.
Brilliant,
Renee. Thanks so much again for coming on the pod and happy birthday. It sounds like the guru spoiled you rotten there, and he's now put himself as second best in the house behind little Miko. I'm sure he's going to rule the roost now. Obviously, you did really well in match day 1, 60 points. You're sitting 16th in the ladder. Who steps up for you in your team?
Yeah, that's a good question. Lukaku was a great captain for me. He scored me 20 points from Belgium. I wanted to make sure that I did stock up on Belgium players, so I'm glad that paid off. Also had to have Ronaldo, he got me 10 points. So that was a really good pick as well. And I'm hoping Bonucci, he got me 6 points from Italy. I'm hoping he does pay out for the next round as well. So we'll see with that.
Yeah, nice. Some great selections there. I was kind of hoping you were going to beat the guru in this one, but we'll wait for the next one. Just on going into the next match day, are you making transfers? Are you playing one of your chips?
Oh God, I know deadline's at 11, so I need to make some decisions.
Oh, nice. Late.
I really don't know what I'm going to do, guys. So stay tuned. I might use a chip. Who knows?
Well, I think we're all worried about a bit of competition in the league this year, so you definitely want to watch out for there, Renee.
Yeah, look, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to help you with this this limitless chip if you use it, or with your transfers, Renee. But look, question from me: who's your one to watch from the England team?
Look, Matt, if it's my birthday wish, I feel like you're going to have to help me out here. No, so from England, I always have to back Harry Kane. I know he only got 2 points this first round, but I'm hoping he does pay out for the next one. So he's probably one that I'm looking out for. Obviously, in our house, we're all Spurs fans. So I've got my Spurs top on here.
Good effort. Well done.
Pardon?
So yeah, good effort. Well done.
He started
where's your England top? Did he not get you a Gaza one as well?
For your birthday?
Matt, where's the rest of the birthday present?
Yeah, no, sorry, I didn't get the England shirt for you this year, but yeah, look, you're rocking the Spurs top and the main man Harry Kane on there, so look, happy with that.
Yeah, it leads nicely into my question there. So we've got, who do you love more, Mr. Guru or Mr. Harry Kane?
God, looks wise it has to be Guru. I don't really rate Harry Kane looks wise, but Harry Kane's nice. I like him on the pitch. And I feel like he's a really good person. But, Guru's an all-rounder, so I have to back the Guru.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure he'll include you in his captain picks. Maybe next week you'll get a little segment on the Guru section there, but we'll just have to see. But thank you very much, Renee, for coming on the podcast. It's been brilliant to have you on, and obviously happy birthday. And we'll see you in the mini league soon, rocketing up, I'm sure.
Cool. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. Good luck, guys.
Just a reminder now before we wrap up the podcast to join over 800 members now in our mini leagues for both free and paid, and enter our Discord community for live banter, advice and opinions from across the world. Head to www.e-sportslive.com.au/FPL Addicts for weekly articles and more information. Head to @esports live now on our socials. The code for the free league again is 45KZE7YN07, and join the paid league through our website as well. And we thank you for all your support recently. Take care, stay safe, may all your Euro fantasy dreams come true. Enjoy match day 2 of the Euros, and bye for now.